welcome back to the Rake, guys. We have an awesome guest today. We have a guy who needs no introduction, but I'm going to do one anyway. So after his massive tournament win that basically helps spur on the poker boom, I'm talking about the Breast Cancer Alliance charity event win of 2020.
Prize, by the way.
Where he crushed all these people, all the rec players that were playing for charity and took it down. It's Chris Moneymaker. How's it going?
Doing well. How are you guys? Let me get the camera right. Doing real well.
We're happy to have you joining us from his car, picking up his kids, doing daddy duty. We're happy to have you. Thanks
I wasn't supposed to be doing daddy duty during this, but I got outplayed by my wife. I lost the bet, and so I'm on the way to go pick them up from school. So you get driving dad on the way.
Okay, well, we'll take any moneymaker we could get. But you mentioned you wanted to play later, so it was like a bargaining thing here where you pick up the kids now and then you get to play later. What poker have you been playing lately?
Just it's all on online, home games, things like that. Just, as safe as possible with COVID. I haven't played a live hand of poker this year.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I did in January. I take that back. I did in January. But everything I've been doing is either for charity, home games, or private games and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. So we wanted to have you on. Watched your video about leaving PokerStars after 17 years. That has to be the longest running ambassador of all time in poker. I feel like people last like 2 years and then they get showered. What is this like for you? Is this was this a shock? Was this something you were thinking about doing for a long time? And what do you expect the next year to be like?
No, honestly, I didn't expect it at all. Going into, my contract, usually just a rubber stamp of, everything's going good, let's go, and that's it. So my contract was running up at the end of the year, and we were talking about just doing the same thing over again. We really didn't have a whole lot of discussions, short of, what are we going to do to make adjustments for COVID, and, how can I get up to Pennsylvania and do some stuff up there. And the more I was at home, the more I realized, I've been traveling for 17 years. I love the fans. I love doing what I do. But being at home has been awesome. And the thought of going back out on the road 50 to 70% of the time, going up to Pennsylvania and grinding, just wasn't as appealing as it was before. Getting in airplanes and driving all over the country and doing all these things. 10, 15 years ago, I love going to new cities. I would go out and be a tourist, and, sort of live a really cool, fun existence. And the last couple of years, I find myself playing poker, then going back to my hotel room, and then getting up and going and playing poker again, going back to my hotel room. And it kind of lost its luster a little bit, I guess, and being inside the airplanes all the time kind of got old. And I think the fact that I was able to be home for 6 months and see what it was like to be around the kids and the wife full time, and it was just incredible. But I just didn't want to have to go back on the road again, at least right away. And PokerStars was really cool about that. They're like, with COVID, we don't know when you would be going back out. But the Moneymaker tour was really good, and I know that they want to do that, and I know they want me to go. And I couldn't play from where I'm located. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, I decided it was just better to move on and try something else. And they were real supportive with the decision. They wished me well. It was, a lot of times you see some of these things, and they're not really mutual breakups. Where this truly was it's like they would have renewed the contract, everything. We were going along just fine. And literally about October time frame, I said, you know what? I think I'm done. I just want to change. And so took the change, and now with Bitcoin doing what it's doing, it's fine.
So are you going to still play a ton online, or are you just going to shift to Bitcoin and other things mostly?
No, I'm going to play online some. Play from home, probably, do some crypto stuff, but I anticipate being in the poker world and having a presence. I still have some things I want to do. I have some projects that I'm working on, so you'll see me on the streets before long.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. So you posted about like a sick MTT run that you've been on, and Faraz Jaka is coaching you. And I wanted to know, is that something that started before you decided to leave Stars, or is this something where that's the impetus where you're like, I want to get really good at poker. I don't want to just be an ambassador for a company. I want to like crush poker. How did this start?
Well, I mean, honestly, it really started with me being home. That's how the impetus started. I mean, I like PokerStars. It was easy being an ambassador. Again, I could be an ambassador, but really the ultimate thing came down to just the travel and what was kind of what they were looking for as far as, the commitment of time. And again, I didn't have a problem with it for 17 years. I thought it was perfectly fine, but at a certain point, I'm 45 years old. My kids are getting older, and I'd like to be able to coach my son's basketball team, and go pick them up from school like I'm doing now, and things of that nature. And things I just really didn't get to do a whole lot as they were, real young kids. But now that they're getting a little older, I mean, I play football with my son just about every day, and I mean, we play basketball and soccer, and so we just have fun. So really the impetus, the whole thing really was based on just not traveling as much. And that's really kind of where it started. And then I started looking at other options and seeing what else I could do. And I found a few things that were interesting to me. And I did, I will be representing someone else at some point soon. The deal's been done for a while. So, I mean, there will be something down the pipeline. But for now, I'm just working at home, trying to get better. I've been working, like you said, with Faraz. I'm working with, I'm part of the Poker Code with Fedor, and doing elite poker coaching. So basically just trying to improve my game. I mean, one day be better than Marle is really the goal. I don't know if it's attainable.
I don't think so. Well, I want to pivot a little bit and ask you about you and Spraggy's relationship, because you guys have a really savage.
First of all, we don't have a relationship. You and Spraggy have a relationship, and I'm sorry for that, by the way.
Poor Spraggy.
Don't ever put me and Spraggy in relationship term goals, because it's not happening.
You guys have such
by the way, speaking of relationship, Jamie, just to break topic real fast, I think me and you are going to be doing something soon. May not be aware of it, but
wait, what?
Yep. We might be doing some business together.
That is news to me. I like that this has been unilaterally decided without me, but I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah. You were already part of the team, and I just got brought in at the last second. So.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it comes back to the Breast Cancer Alliance tournament I won. They figured I was pretty good. If I could win that, then I can be on the team with you.
Yeah, I was so happy you played that, by the way. The woman that I helped run it for was sweating it really hard that there weren't many people signed up, because it was over the holidays. Like, people just don't sign up, and especially poker players, they don't register early for anything. So I'm scrambling. I'm literally asking everyone I know to play it. And just trying to get people in, and I got a lot of people in, and then it just shows up and there's just like Moneymaker in the tournament. I'm like, what the hell? So that was so cool that you played, and then it was extra cool that you won, because she was thrilled. All these little news articles are popping up where it's like, main event winner Moneymaker wins the breast cancer, and it made it sound like a much bigger, like more extravagant event than it really was. This is a tiny little event. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. That was like very nice of you to just hop in and play out of nowhere.
Oh, no worries. I like doing that kind of stuff, and especially for good causes. I saw Jennifer Shahadi's tweet, and It's like, you know what? I'm just going to jump in and play. I got nothing else going on, so why not? So I guess we can go back and deal with the Spraggy situation now that I tried to avoid it.
Well, I was just curious, how did you guys first meet, and how did you guys, when did you guys get this dynamic between you two?
Well, honestly, I didn't even know who he was when he signed on with PokerStars. He did a video maybe a year or two ago where they were posting odds, and he came out with this video where he was just shaking mad because he was getting no credit for his skill. versus all the other team pros. And I just found it really funny. And I started looking at some of his videos, and I thought, well, this is a funny little guy. So, I was going to make a video just to kind of make fun of him. And, anybody that knows me, I love making fun of people. I love poking fun, but, people always make fun of me too. I'm usually the butt of all the jokes. And he took it really well and started giving it back. And, if you're going to joke with me, then yeah, we're going to have a pretty good relationship. And, he's just a funny guy. He's a good guy. I mean, I'm sure, you'll probably figure this out in a couple of years, but I mean, he's probably, one of the nicer, more genuine guys out there. And if this is aired, by the way, I will deny that I ever said this, but I mean, I generally like the guy. He's a good guy. We bantered back and forth whenever we saw each other. We always had a good time. I would see him at Lex Live, and we'd see on the European Poker Tour. So, he's just a good guy, and he's a lot of fun. He puts out really good content. I think he's a great ambassador, and, he obviously is dating up now, and so good for him.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think that Spraggy is poker.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Trust me.
He's a good guy.
Just take my word for it. I know you don't believe it, but he is. Well, or are you talking about something else?
No, I'm glad I have your blessing, the Moneymaker stamp of approval.
Oh, okay, good.
Now I know it's real. Jamie, I don't know what should we pivot next to?
Oh, I was gonna let that play out. Cause I'm like, anytime people are making fun of Spraggy, I just don't interrupt at all. I'm like, continue, go on.
I didn't even make fun of him. I was so nice to him this time. I mean, and it is generally hard to be nice to him. It really is. I mean, I don't think we've ever had a conversation other than privately where we're nice.
Yeah.
Like anytime it's public, since I've left Stars, I don't tweet as much about him with some of the pros, but I do see his tweets, and I'm like, oh god, that's so easy, slow hanging fruit. And
yeah, I can't believe you still see his tweets. Like, you must be one of the only poker players that don't have him muted.
I'm never going to mute him because it's kind of like he's sort of like my Trump. He just provides entertainment. When Trump got banned, I didn't know what to do for 12 hours. So, it's like entertainment value.
Wow. There is something about Spraggy that I didn't know him either, and I instantly went in on him too. Like, I was just like, this is a guy who I'm going to just make fun of him. And then, like, that's what we did on Twitter. And then I went out for Marley's birthday and hung out with Spraggy. And I'm like, well, now this is weird. It's like, you can't make fun of someone for 10 hours straight to their face. Yeah. So now we're friends.
Yes, it kind of happened the same way with me. I mean, he does have that face you just want to make fun of. So, but yeah, if you hang out with him for a while, you kind of feel sorry for him. And you're like, okay, well, I guess we can be friends.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you.
I still don't see the appeal of, like, actually having to, like, stay with him. Sorry.
Oh, well, we should put some bets on this, though. I give them about 3 years. What do you think? Just kidding.
3 years? Well, they're not really together right now. Like, are they in different countries?
We're in different countries, yeah.
See, that helps. That helps a lot. So, depends on, like, when she goes back. If they're forced to be in the same room all the time together, 3 years is way too high. But if she stays in different countries, yeah, 3 years is easy, I think. I mean, I could love Spraggy from afar.
Yeah, it's true. I wanted to pivot. You retweeted something Mike Korodinsky wrote. He said, you got to hand it to WSOP for year after year, coming up with creative new ways to tarnish their image. I respect the ingenuity of the mid-pandemic hybrid live event where you brutally punish players for getting ill. We talked about this on another pod, almost a whole pod, because there's just so many opinions and everything. As a past main event winner, do you feel like this tarnishes the main event champion title, or do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never been a big bracelet guy. I don't really go out and play the World Series other than the main event. I don't chase bracelets, so it doesn't really bother me that much, to be honest. But the fact that they put a tournament out there where you have to go play live was just such a bad idea. I understand they probably had to do it for TV purposes, but it just didn't seem like, first of all, you had the main event that wasn't the main event. They called it the main event, but then they decided it wasn't the main event because they had to have this main event, and now you have a main event champion that didn't actually play in 2020 because they actually crowned it in 2021. So, yeah, it just all seems so unorganized, and you look at all the other sports, what they're doing. They've all had to adapt and had to make changes, but the core of their business is still pretty much the same. Where the WSOP just looks like they just throw crap up against the wall and hope something sticks. And I don't know, it seems like a really bad, weird way to do business. I mean, they have a tournament going on where a lot of the population can't easily play. I mean, I didn't play either one of the events. I wasn't going to travel during this time, and then the fact that if I were to make the final table, I mean, obviously you had someone that made the final table and tested positive. I mean, you have to get to Vegas somehow, and short of driving, it just seems like such a negative EV to play a tournament where you might cap out at 90,000 or whatever ninth place was, because you got unlucky and sat next to someone on the plane that was positive for COVID, or you ran across someone that was asymptomatic. I mean, it's just a brutal way to get ninth place, and it should never have been that way. They should have had something in place to where they could delay it a couple days or a week or whatever it was. And I hope in 2021, if we are able to play World Series this year, that they do something much better. Either just have it all online and have it planned that way, or have it out in Vegas and go for it. I don't, who knows where we're going to be in June, July timeframe, but obviously I think everybody wants to go back to the World Series, and I don't think anybody wants to go back to the Rio, but I think the Rio is a place that people are actually wanting to see again.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I wanted to say it's weird that we used to delay the final table like November 9, and this is a time when maybe that would have made sense to have the final table, like to have it be delayed. Like if the vaccine timeline was what people think it is, like this could have just been a situation where it's like you play the online event and then they go, okay, it'll be the April 9 or whatever. If they could guarantee that those people could get the vaccine by then. Yeah, that was definitely a weird thing. We had a good discussion about it. I think so many companies have had to just provide a worse product because they don't have a choice. And like, we're not all just going to sit around doing nothing. So it's like, I would rather have the choice to play some stuff that maybe isn't quite as good. I'd like to watch sports, even though there's no fans. Weird, some people are getting sick. If those people want to play, like, it's nice to have something to do, or else we'd be really bored. It's like, I get what they're doing. It is a little rough though, and like next year it's like, okay, now there's the main event champ, and they're like, okay, well they had 2 last year, kind of. It does have a little bit of an effect on the brand, and they had a bunch of events online too where it was like they're having them more often, and I'm thinking, okay, a circuit ring won't mean as much if there's just thousands of them floating around all the time, but also who cares? Like some people who are rec players, like they win a circuit ring, they're not like, oh, how many are there? Should I care about this? They're just happy and they could brag to their families and all that. So I don't know. I feel like it came out terribly. Obviously, one person gets eliminated from each final table, but also I'm not really sure if I was a company trying to make money during COVID, if I would make a different choice.
Yeah, again, like you said, it's a tough situation, and I do appreciate the fact that people are getting options to play. I mean, like you said, it's been quite boring, but I mean, every site has put out bigger schedules or more schedules that give people options to play, which is really nice during this time. But I actually had one guy hit me up on Twitter, and he was kind of offended. I didn't know who he was. He had won a bracelet, and I'm like, okay, sorry, I don't know all the bracelet winners. And again, I probably couldn't tell you anybody that's won a bracelet, much of a main event bracelet. So he won one online during this whole thing. So it's even less of a chance I would even have heard of him. But I don't chase bracelets again, so I don't really care on that front. If you want to give bracelets away, that's fine. But I just don't know if you want to offer options. Just have tournament series. I mean, you can put guarantees on it. You can do things to give people options. You just don't have to make it dual main event champions for the year.
Yeah.
Which I guess we didn't have. We actually have a 20 and a 21 champion. So I don't think we have two champions in 2021.
Yeah, maybe they'll just do the reasonable thing and cancel the 2021 main event because like we already have a champion. Like let's not collect this $2 million in Rake. We'll just let it go.
Yeah, right.
Well, they could just do. They could actually hold it in December and like do the final in 2022, and then everything's right. We have one for every year.
True.
No, I really hope we're back. I hope we're all back smelling each other in the Rio at some point this year. It's been sad. I mean, I like being at home, and I'm glad I made the choice. But at the same time, I really need to get out of the house. I would like to. I don't even know if I could play a live tournament at this point. I'm so used to seeing everything in BBs online. I don't know if I could go back and actually be able to calculate all that in my head again. But it'd be fun to try.
I've played a few of my first live tournaments this past week, the MSPT, and it is feels like time is standing still. It goes so slow. You're playing one table. You get 25 hands an hour. It's tough, man. It's really tough to.
That sounds terrible. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, but the action has just been so insane. Kind of makes up for it. But
I could only imagine how good the games are right now with people, getting out playing for the first time and playing tournaments for the first time. Yeah, I've actually thought about going down to Florida and playing the big tournament down there, the Hard Rock, at the end of January. But it just, with the vaccine being so close, I've been home so long. I don't know if I want to be the guy that risks it, be stupid right at the finish line, hopefully. I mean, I'm hoping we all can get this vaccine by the World Series and, have some semblance of normalcy throughout the end of the year.
Yeah, it makes sense that the action would be so good right now, though, if you think about it. Like, all the nits are self-selecting themselves out of the player pool. Like, I'm sitting at home. I'm the one waiting for aces and also trying not to get sick. And all the crazy people are just like, fuck this. We're going to go to this event. It has to be so much fun to play poker right now. But, yeah, I'm with you. I feel like if you can wait it out a little longer, it's like we waited almost a year.
Yeah, I'm not worried about myself getting it, but if I had a family or if I see older people, I definitely would be very, weary, for sure.
Well, yeah, you're young and in shape. I'm fat and old, and I don't want to get it for my kid, for me, and I don't want to get it for my kids. I mean, my daughter had it, and she's fine now, but she went through a long period with it. But yeah, I don't want to get it. I don't want my wife to get it. Don't want my in-laws to get it, or anybody, basically anybody else. But basically everybody I know now has had it. So I've been, me, my wife, and my other two children, about the only people I know that haven't had it in any way. We've had neighbors die. We've had friends die. So
really,
I mean, we're trying to avoid it as best we can.
So sad.
How did that work? How did your daughter end up getting it, and how did no one else in your family get it? Because I feel like that is obviously so unlucky for her. I remember reading about it when you were posting. But how did everyone else avoid it? Because that seems incredibly lucky with being so close to each other.
It was really random. We had been cooped up for so long, and we decided that we were going to start soccer again. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, my wife decided she was going to go down and see her parents at the beach. So she took two of our kids down to the beach, and I stayed home with my daughter because she had a soccer tournament that weekend. And so I was home with her, and she is on a Saturday. I'm pretty sure it may have been a Friday, but I called my wife and said, hey, my daughter, she's not doing very well. And the next day she said she lost her smell and taste. So, obviously at this point, I know she's probably got COVID. Told her to go to her room and don't come out, don't do anything, just stay away. So for that week, my wife and kids were pretty much out of town in Florida. So they were safe from that standpoint. And then for me, basically the second she started feeling sick, I went and took Clorox wipes and literally disinfected the entire house the best I possibly could. I didn't let her come out of her room. I told her to just watch DirecTV, Netflix, and I brought food to her at her door and made sure that, she was still breathing. but outside of that, she was kind of in there by herself for, a little while. And luckily I didn't get it. And by the time that wife and kids got home, hopefully she was just done being able to spread it, and we just never got it. So
how hard was that as a parent to like not be able to hug your kid? You have to just like make sure she's okay, but you can't do anything like that because you're the more at-risk person. So you have to take care of yourself. You don't want to like get sick and be in the hospital or whatever. But how hard is that? I feel like that has to be incredibly hard to not be able to actually like go be with her when she's feeling like that.
I love my kids, but it's easy not to hug them. If you hear them yell in the house and be rambunctious, yeah, it's easy. Honestly, she really never really felt that bad. I mean, if she would have been like really sick, then yeah, it would have been tough. But if you would have seen her, she was fine. I mean, she lost her smell. Like one day she was like, I just don't feel very good. I'm just gonna kind of run down. And then she lost her smell and taste. But other than that, I mean, like if she wouldn't have done that, I never would have known. She was, moving around in a room. Like she was in there dribbling her soccer ball and juggling her soccer ball in her room and, talking on the phone with her friends. And, trust me, she was fine. She was busy and she wasn't like laying around miserable. So it made it to where it was easy. I knew she was in there doing TikToks and having fun and doing, whatever she wanted to do. And no one was telling her what to do. She didn't have to do chores. So yeah, she was fine. So that made it really easy. I mean, obviously if she was sick, which me and my wife had already had the discussion, if one of our kids gets sick, like real sick, we were just going to get it too. We weren't going to isolate them. If they were sick, we were just going to bite the bullet and take care of them. But if one of us got it, we were going to have to go sleep in like the extra part of the house that no one goes to. We were going to quarantine ourselves. But the kids, if they got real sick, we were just going to bite the bullet and say, we're going to take care of them.
That seems like the best result possible is that she's not asymptomatic. She has enough symptoms so that she has it and to avoid her, but she's not so sick that you're actually worried about like what you're supposed to do in that situation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was literally the best situation possible. And again, we would never have known if she didn't lose her smell and taste. And the only way, I gave her some different types of water and vinegar and put some in a cup and had her taste all three of them if she could tell the difference, and she drank all three and they were like the same. It's like, yeah, that's a problem. So go in your room. I mean, when it's gone, it's gone. That smell and taste is really, it's funny how, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. You could just eat lettuce and be like, oh great, I'm eating a burger.
A friend of mine was eating a raw onion like it was an apple. He just sent me a video where he's eating it, and it was making me so disgusted. And he's like, this could be an apple. Like, the texture is the only thing that you care about because you cannot taste anything. Ugh.
Trust me, I've thought about it for my weight, that it might not be a bad thing to get. But, yeah, it's probably not the best diet plan.
You don't have to shower. You can't smell yourself. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to wear deodorant. You're great.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
We interrupt this podcast with an important message from our sponsors at Run It Once. Run It Once Poker is excited to announce that weekly SNG Select leaderboards are back. We're hosting 4 SNG leaderboards broken down by specific stakes with 100 positions earning a cash prize. And that's not all. We've also got leaderboards for the cash game crowd. We've got 3 No Limit Hold'em leaderboards and 4 Pot Limit Omaha leaderboards broken down by specific stakes with 185 positions earning a cash prize. In total, we're putting up over €15,000 in prizes each week. For full details, head to once.run/leaderboards. That's once.run/leaderboards. And if you're looking to improve your game, head on over to Run It Once Training, where you'll find the largest library of high-quality poker training content on the web, with 2 new videos posted daily from an incredible stable of some of the greatest minds in the game, including Run It Once founder Phil Galfond. Sign up today at once.run/learn, and you'll get free access to 3 of our elite-level videos. And now, back to the pod.
Just to pivot a little bit, sorry, I don't know what you were going to say, Jamie, but just talking about You're still doing a lot of election bets, or you have been.
That was actually what I was going to ask.
Which is hilarious.
I do have a lot of election bets. I actually just took one this morning.
That is so ridiculous. Was it one of the people that came straight from storming the Capitol? They just came from Nancy Pelosi's office and was like, Moneymaker, I want to throw some money in the ocean. And you're like, okay.
Well, I got someone that has a bet with me, and they're like, hey, can I get more at a better price? I'm like, sure. And then I put a tweet out saying that I had that, and I had another person write me. It's like, hey, would you take 10,000 for 25 to 1? And I'm like, yeah, I would do that. And we coordinated, and they sent over the money, and now Trump just can't win.
What is the official thing? If Biden is sworn in on the 21st, you win?
It's not the date. It's whoever the next president sworn in. If it's a Democrat, I win. If it's a Republican, they win.
Okay.
So
let's play something out. Like, let's say that this whole storming the Capitol thing went through, and then what happens if Trump gets impeached? Does Pence then become the next president sworn in, and you lose these bets on some dumb technicality?
Oh no. Well, first of all, they're not. Like, you can't swear. You can't really lose like that, because the next president would be Biden. But they're not going to. The 25th Amendment is not going to be able to be put through in that short period of time. There's just like
there's no terrible thing that can happen that's like some technicality that's going to ruin your bets.
The only technicality that I have is they declare martial law or somehow steal the election. I don't know what Trump believers think is going to happen, but they still believe that they're going to win the election. Like, Trump's going to win. I've had people tell me the Lord's told them, the prophets have told them, they're going to declare martial law. It was a rigged election, and they're just going to win. I don't see it. I don't get it. That's why I'm taking the bets. But I've got bets at 25 to 1. Then I've got bets at 1 to 3. I took bets on election night where I was getting 3 to 1 on Biden. So I've got a lot of bets on a lot of different prices. And now I just need to, I've collected on a lot of bets too. I mean, a lot of bets were, state bets or once I collected on bets this morning, but then made more bets against the same damn bet I'm making. It's crazy to me.
That is interesting. I've collected on a Biden bet, and then now there are people still betting on that same thing. I'm like, this is very weird. I don't know. Like, when sports books start paying out those bets, how are people still betting? That's like, people are crazy. That's what I'm learning more than ever over the last few years. But I think some of the people in poker who are huge Trump true believers are very vocal about it, and they are ready with the I told you so's, and they can't wait. We have Khait, who is giving talks at these big events and just screaming, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
She's the only person that's ever blocked me.
She blocked me too. I mean, if you're not blocked, there's an issue at this point. But
I got screenshots. I got screenshots this morning of her tweets. So someone was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'd be taking those bets because like she's praying how the gods are coming down and going to give Trump his second term. So I probably shouldn't be taking the bets this morning."
That's what's so weird. It's like with faith and stuff like that. It's like, if you can believe heavily in religion, no judgment for people who believe in religion. But then it becomes a thing where it's like, it's not that far of a leap to then have faith in this other thing and lose a lot of money betting in it because you think that it's just a crazy thing. I've obviously people send me her screenshots too. I'm like, you guys don't need to do that. I'm not really missing out. But I'm wondering if she has put some money on this as well.
Between Donald Trump, Spraggy, and Khait, it's my daily fun laughter. I mean,
wow, wow, that is a burn. I'm sorry, you just compared Spraggy to Trump and Khait.
I mean, they're all in the same vein. I didn't mean to insult Trump like that.
You know what we should do? We can have a contest where we just post anonymously the tweet without the handle, and we could guess if it's Spraggy, Khait, or Donald Trump. And I feel like I might only get like 40% correct.
Well, the problem is that they are so out there on different planets that you could probably guess. but you could probably post some tweets and be like, is this a real tweet or fake tweet? And
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to know the difference. Is this a real Spraggy tweet? Is this a real Khait tweet? Did Trump really tweet this? I mean, you can win a lot of bets with the real or fake.
The thing is, people, they're all funny until they have power. And I feel like if we gave Spraggy any power, he might be dangerous, just like Khait and Trump. That's the difference, is he has no power.
Well, he's like Boris Johnson's son or something. He looks kind of like his lost son. So there is that. It's just kind of scary. But no, I don't see Spraggy ever coming to power. And, the good thing is he's with you, so you're going to make sure he never does. You're going to be the protector of the world.
Exactly.
I owe everything to you.
I make all his decisions.
You're going to smash him. Trust me, my wife does too.
Well,
how do you think I'm talking to you from a car?
I love that. Your message to me was so good. You're like, I just got played by my wife. I'm going to have to do this while driving. She's having me pick up the kids. And I was like, nice.
Listen, I know who makes the decisions in the family.
I wanted to ask you, how often do you get recognized in the street out and about?
I always tell people I've got the perfect amount of celebrity. So if I go to the grocery store or I go out and about, I don't really get recognized that much. I mean, if I get recognized, it's, hey, I know you from somewhere. Did you play, baseball or football or whatever at the school? Or did I know you from church or, a lot of stuff like that. Like they recognize me, but they don't know where from. But if I want to be recognized or I go into a casino, then I'm recognized instantly. So I've got the perfect blend to where if I want to be recognized, I can. If I don't, then I won't. Where I live, basically everybody kind of knows who I am and what I do. Obviously, you know who I am. I guess you know what I do. But I live out in the middle of nowhere now, so it's still peaceful, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's really cool. The first time I ever played with you, I didn't even know it was your table. We were at PCA, and it was just a fun table. I'm playing boring 5-10 no limit, and it's like watching paint dry. And 2 tables over, I hear like everyone laughing and yelling and like calling for cards and stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna go play that, whatever it is. So it was like 2, 5, 10 PLO, something like that. I didn't even know how to play PLO, but I'm like, I want to be at the fun table. I'm on vacation. And I went over, sat over there. It was the fun table because you were there and you were literally prop betting people for whatever cards were coming out and you're buying everyone Bahama Mamas. And I was like, oh, this is really great. And it was when I realized like, that's what makes you a really good ambassador is I feel like you could have not won the main and you'd probably still be the guy making it the fun table. And I think that's cool that you like have a good perspective on what it is to be like a celebrity in poker. You're like, I'll be the celebrity at the casino. And then when I'm at the grocery store, I'm the guy that just like tries to avoid eye contact. You're like, no, you don't know me. I'm out of here. But do you think that's going to change when you're not hatched by stars? Or you just feel like you're going to be the same guy?
I don't see how it would change. I mean, the one thing that I've always had and fortunately is I've never had to change who I am to be patched or to be, representative stars. I mean, I can say what I want to say on Twitter. I can be who I am in real life. I mean, I don't really put on an act. I just do whatever the fuck I want to do essentially. And they're fine with it. They've always been fine with it. And whoever I work for next is going to be the same way. I would never work for a company that's going to try to control me or anything I would do. So, I don't see that ever changing. I mean, again, I just get to be myself and, myself is having fun. Poker should be about having fun. I mean, we're all, a lot of people are in it to make money, but at the end of the day, 90% of the people that play aren't in it to officially make a living out of it. They're there to have fun and be released from normal everyday life. So I look at it as, I'm there to take your money, but I want you to have fun doing it. And I can't tell you how many times over the years that I'll bust somebody and take their role and they'll be like, man, that's the best night I've ever had. It's been so much fun.
That's cool.
If I can get someone to shake my hand after I've taken their money, I've done my job in 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So if you think that the WSOP main and stuff has kind of maybe lost its luster with this past year, what event or title or like accomplishment do you think could catapult someone to like, your level of, recognizable?
It's really hard with the way legislation is in the U.S. to really get to the superstar level now. And that's sort of been the problem with poker, is if you look at all the stars of poker, I would say almost all of them are from the time when I was around. I mean, it was Helmuth, Negreanu, myself, Ivy. I mean, those are still the biggest names in poker. And it's because of the TV coverage we got, the all that stuff. The TV coverage now is just not what it was back then. I'd say the biggest stars would probably come from high stakes poker type shows or something like that being on TV. I don't know in this climate if poker is going to be a big making a star. It's gonna be, there might be a good chance for a woman to do it. Because it's a market that hasn't really been hit yet. But then you look at some of these other markets, like Brazil's been growing really fast. India's growing really fast. If an Indian won the main event, that would do great for that country. China is a growing market, so if a Chinese guy won or girl won, that would do great things for that particular market. But for poker as a whole, I mean, we're still growing, or I'm sorry, we're not growing. We're still on that same plateau, I think. But I think there's been so much competition over the last couple of years with poker being unregulated in the U.S. that you have DFS and you have esports and you have all these other things drawing younger people's attention away, that might grow up and be in this poker world. That I just don't know how many younger players we have coming up, wanting to be. I mean, I used to do charity events, and I would do them with poker player or with football players, and all the kids wanted to be hanging out with me playing poker, not with the football players or the basketball players. And I would bet now that's just not the case. I mean, it's not on TV. It's not the cool thing to do anymore. And a lot of that just comes to, the ad revenue that the TVs make. And, if we could ever get NBC Heads Up again, something like that going again, the World Series maybe on a bigger platform, there's definitely some opportunities there. But in today's market, I just don't see any other stars being made.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really miss, and I don't know why this concept is not around anymore, but with the loose cannon in the big game, we have a lot of people who are poker players for the past 15 years of their lives. They've figured out how to not show as much emotion. They figured out how to play within their bankroll. 15 years ago, it wasn't like that. You had people, you're like, that guy has his bankroll on the table. He's going to cry if he loses. There was real emotion pouring out of everyone. The loose cannon takes care of that. You have someone who's like, this is a school teacher who won this seat, and she's trying to cash out her $50K right now. She's not putting in money with aces like that. I want that story again, where any person who enjoys poker can put themselves in that seat and feel what it would feel like to play against all these killers. I love that show. I think more of that, more of the Shark Cage was cool. Some of these fun concepts that make it more like a game show and less of the cerebral poker game where it's a bit robotic, and even the commentary is we're going into GTO, we're not going to stuff that a normal person wants to try to figure out. When I was coming up, I watched your main event. I love Lon and Norm. I love the chill commentary, the backstories, all the stuff that hooks you into poker. And it's what hooks me into sports. I need backstories. I want to know stuff about people, or I don't care that much. So I feel like the casual viewer needs something else than what we're giving them right now if we want to have some kind of boom or some kind of huge celebrity built today.
Yeah, that's kind of the rub that you're dealing with. You actually hit it on the head. The normal poker player wants the GTO, the hardcore guys. They want the Nick Schulman GTO. Tell me the best play. The average fan don't want that. They want the edited version with backstories, someone to root for. That's what made my year so good. Is they filmed it 6 months down the line, so they knew who won. They were able to call me and ask me questions, get my backstory, get everybody's backstory, and they followed you throughout the tournament. And they were able to build a story where we don't build stories anymore. We just follow poker. Yeah. And you got to have someone to root for. I mean, honestly, there's no more villains in poker other than maybe Phil Hellmuth. I mean,
and he's nice. He's not even a villain anymore.
I know, but he still yells at people. He does, and he still has his antics. People still want to root against him. But outside of that, there's no one really that you don't want to root for. I mean, Doug Polk could probably be that person if he was a little bit more known outside of poker. But again, there's just not many villains, and especially for the casual players. And I think that was part of what made poker so cool back in the day, is you had all these personalities. You had, there were, Helmuth getting punched by Sam Grizzle. There was, Raymer and someone, Mike Matisow, I think, had verbal jabs on the table. Helmuth calling they can't spell poker, and there was all these different personalities, and that's what made poker fun. And yeah, no one wants to watch 9 guys sit around a table that play GTO and don't say anything. I mean, hell, I don't want to watch that. So, I mean, I don't see how anybody would. But that's unfortunately where we are in today's game.
Have you seen the new high stakes poker? I think that Gabe and AJ are doing an amazing job on commentary, by the way. What do you think about the new show?
I haven't seen it. I haven't watched a hand of televised poker, and the only thing I've seen in the last 10 years poker wise is I saw one session of the Daniel and Doug bet, because I had a big bet with Bill Perkins, so I had to watch that one session, and I lost that session, so I don't watch it anymore. So
No.
yeah, I had Doug for one session, and it was Daniel actually won that one session, so it was really close too. But
yeah, I have an uncomfortable amount of my bankroll on Doug. So I've been watching all those, and I've been like happy I get to commentate once in a while, like, because they'll put me with someone who's like a heads up analyst, get to be the fun player who talks to Twitch and roots for Doug. But that's been fun for me to watch. But I feel you. I don't watch a ton of poker. I've watched high stakes because there's not a whole lot else happening right now. But as for what you said about the robots, the 9-handed and all that, like, I like it as a poker player. I think there's a place for it, for those live streams, the never ending live streams where you actually get to see really great poker and you get like the Shulman commentary and you learn something. I feel like there's a place for that. And that usually is like the low cost kind of production where they don't have to edit it. So it's like, if that's worth it, if they get enough eyes on that, that's cool. But I really do miss the edited, fun, backstory, appeal to everyone kind of thing. And if it's not cost prohibitive, I think they need to do more of that to make sure that the new players are coming into the game and getting interest in poker again.
Yeah, and that, the sad thing is, even with like high stakes poker, I mean, I felt like high stakes poker back in the day, they were playing with their whole bankroll. I mean, they seriously had like their whole roll on the table. And now it feels like, these guys got, they're playing with their own role and they're fine. If they lose, it's not a big deal. Where you could actually see the pain on faces back in the day when people would lose. I mean, I think it was, golly, who was it? Maybe Jason Mercier. He lost a big pot to Ivy. And, like, you could see it visually shook him. Like, he was like, wow, that hurt. That was fun, watching people that were, big game type thing where they're risking significant amounts of their money and significant amounts of their, livelihood in this game. And that was fun to watch. When you're got guys playing that are bankrolled properly and sold action to everybody else at the table, and they lose a pot and they don't really care that much. Yeah, it's okay, but it's not near as fun.
Yeah, we're almost like in the Coliseum, and we want to see gladiators like battling to the death, and we're like, come on, we want to see blood. And instead it's just like a nice soccer match.
Yeah, I mean, but it's TV. I mean, it's entertainment. Yeah. That's, I don't want anybody to go broke or, have financial ruin, but this is TV. You're supposed to entertain me. I want to see blood and gore. I want pain. And, that's what's fun about TV. It's entertainment. It's not, watching to learn poker. To me, it's all about entertainment, and they should probably have poker players do athletic events. That would probably be a lot more fun to watch and laugh at. Could you see poker players doing like, what is it? Those maze games, you put, or the ultimate where you hang down and do that stuff. That would be
Ninja Warrior. Oh my God. How about we just make this concept right now? We'll have a bunch of poker players who are going to play like a high stakes sit and go. And the amount of chips they start with is determined by how well they perform at American Ninja Warrior.
That's amazing.
We need to call Carrie and get Poker Go to film this. This would be awesome.
Yeah, let's go.
We can't get like Jason Kuhn or anybody who's in amazing shape. We have to get like Sean Deeb We have to get like fucking Spraggy. We have to get like
Oh, brutal. Poor
Don't
Spraggy.
say Chris Moneymaker. I'm an athlete over here.
Spraggy is
man.
the most skinny fat person on the planet. He's got the work. He played a big football game with his friends this past weekend, and he literally couldn't run for 3 minutes. He's so in shape. I know, he was like like dying. He needs to work out. I told him.
Oh,
But
brutal.
I was playing a football game, a soccer game, as we call it over here. I played with my brother-in-law, and I didn't know that he was playing like level 1 soccer. And so I went out and played with this team, and I used to be really good, but I'm 40 years old. I'm not good anymore. My wife, 5 minutes late to the game, and she's looking for me, and I'm laying on the bench, out of breath. I can't move. And I said, I'm done. I can't play anymore. I literally lasted 5 minutes in the game, and I couldn't breathe. And that was it.
Oh.
So my goal now is to get back into shape so I can play with them again in the spring. That's sort of been my goal, and I'm starting my diet tomorrow.
All right. Well, keep with it. I'm in a group right now of poker players where we had a 10% body weight loss, and then I re-upped it for another stretch. So I got through the first one, and most of us did. And then we're on a second round now, and for every pound you don't lose, you have to pay $500. And I'm a peasant, so for me, I'm like, when I sign up for this bet, I am not going to fail this bet. But it's amazing, like what kind of an effect it has on your whole life. And like, I can't wait to play soccer. I can't wait to go play a lot of tournaments. Remco's bet, yeah.
I was invited to that, and I turned it down because I know I would lose, and I would just pay everybody money. I just knew that there was no way. I did enter into a bet with a friend that is going to get me in shape, because there's no way in hell that I'm going to show up to the main event wearing this outfit. So
wait,
I will
can
be
you
in shape
tease it?
by the
Tease
summer.
it.
Have you seen Borat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
I have to show up in the mankini if I don't lose my weight.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm rooting against you now because that would be hilarious.
You don't want to see me in the mankini, I promise. I don't want to see me in the mankini.
Oh man.
So
great.
I'm gonna be losing. Listen, we were trying to figure out a monetary number that would be painful for both of us, and we couldn't quite figure out what would be equal because he's better well off than I am. But he wanted to lose weight too, so we basically have the bet that one of us has to show up wearing that, and it'll be either one of us show up and it'll be fun.
Do you have to actually play the event in the mankini, or can you just show up and then put on something?
No, you got to wear it.
Oh my God.
What?
Gotta play it.
That's health and safety risk. Like, that shouldn't be rubbing up against the seats. Especially like.
Oh, I would probably have a towel. First of all, I haven't planned far enough to where I would actually be wearing this thing. I might have to go have surgery before. I might cut a leg off before I wear that. But yeah, I haven't even thought about the whole dynamic of how I would walk around and like be around people and that. Because there's no way in cold hell I'm gonna not lose the weight.
How much weight do you have to lose to avoid this shame?
I have to be 200 pounds before the main event, and I weigh 250.
Okay, you can.
So I got to lose 50. I got to lose 50 pounds. My biggest hope, if I don't lose the weight, is the main event's canceled this year.
Yeah, this is a scary way though, like because it's in the back of your mind, you feel like you have a safety net. You can't have that to lose 50 pounds, dude. No, just pretend that's not even a thing and just start jogging.
I've already started jogging. I have done that. I've stopped Coca-Cola. Actually, Coke might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, don't stop taking Coke. Do Coke now.
That's only helping you.
Unfortunately, I have to cut this short because my son's about to come out. And
okay, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I appreciate you not canceling
if y'all want to do this later on, finish it up if it's not done.
No, this is great.
This is totally fine. And good luck in everything that's coming ahead for you. Apparently, good luck to us on our future endeavor that I don't know about.
I look forward to working with you. And Marley, I'm sorry.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Playing together. See ya.
Yeah, you can ask Tom about it.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye.